It is important to understand, therefore, that the Supreme Court decision that happened recently about abortion is having already serious consequences for the rest of the country. And in this brief conversation, I'm going to talk about how abortion relates to the LGBTQ movement and rights, as well as the undocumented community, and the failures that have existed in the past. So now that abortion is basically illegal, right, the United States Supreme Court did not interpret the Constitution from the point of view of interpreting the letter of the Constitution, right? The letter of the law, what is there. But what they did is they used their personal religious conservative views, which have nothing to do with the Constitution, in order to be able to determine what was going to happen in this case. And so this is important for us to pay attention, because what they did there was just the beginning of what is to come, not just for women, but for other groups. So what the court said was, well, we're just basically sending it back to the states, and the states can decide, which in this situation, all that it means is, we know that 20 plus states are interested in making abortion illegal, and we're just going to give them the right to make it illegal. And that is exactly what's happening. And then some of the states, because they know that some individuals will be able to leave, not everybody can, but some could leave the state to go have an abortion somewhere else. Those individuals are in a situation where, again, they're trying to pass laws to be able to prevent you from leaving the state to do that. This is an issue of the Fourth Amendment and the right to privacy. Do you, as a female, have the right to your body? And the answer is, in this country, no. Now, this justice has made that decision based on their religious beliefs, but here are some specific points that people like Thomas Jefferson made, right, in regards to religion and the separation of the government and religious beliefs. He said, Christianity neither is nor ever was a part of the common law. Christianity, he said, is the most perverted system that ever shone on man. And he says, the United States, I'm sorry, this is John Adams. The United States is not a Christian nation anymore than it is a Jewish nation or a Mohammedan nation. And so it's important that we understand that these judges in the United States Supreme Court are interpreting the Constitution from a religious point of view, which has nothing to do with what their own mandate is, which is to interpret the Constitution correctly. Even James Madison said, religion and government will both exist in greater purity the less they are mixed together. The purpose of separation of church and state is to keep forever from these shores the ceaseless strife that has soaked the soil of Europe with blood for centuries. So again, their intent was to not bring religion into the courts, into government in general, but that is exactly what the Supreme Court has done. Now, some individuals are happy, they say, well, abortion shouldn't happen, right? The other piece that is important here is that now some of the laws that could pass in some of the states, not California for now, but other states, is that the legislatures of those states can choose possibly to get access to apps that track women's periods among other pieces of information, like are you looking up on companies, I'm not even going to mention here, are you looking up Plan B, or are you looking up even in your history ways of having an abortion naturally, for example? This is all about the Fourth Amendment and your right to privacy. And so again, some people are celebrating that abortion is no longer legal. And the interesting piece is that even one of the conservative members of the court, the Chief Justice, John Roberts, said that there should be some exceptions, including in cases of incest or rape. But the other justices, starting with Alito, basically questioned whether or not the Chief Justice was the right person for the job, right? And we have to look at it in many ways, including psychologically. How will a child that is 13 or 14 perhaps, who now is being forced to have a child, how will that child have to remember the trauma they went through every day when they're looking at their own child? And how are they going to explain to their child that they are the product of a horrible situation? And that's just one piece. Then we look at how the United States Supreme Court is going to have to deal with a case that relates to denying services for members of the LGBTQ community. And that is going to bring the court to a conversation about the LGBTQ community and the right to gay marriage. And they will hear that case sometime between now and November. And by next year, there is a high likelihood, based on this religious views of the majority of the court, there is a high likelihood that gay marriage could disappear, right? And so this piece is important. And that brings us to immigration. DACA now, that has benefited over 800,000 people, was challenged in Texas, and the very conservative judge in Texas said that, yeah, DACA is technically illegal, and then it was appealed, and now it was appealed again, and it's heading to the United States. It's in the United States Supreme Court. And when they hear this case, if they continue to interpret the Constitution in the very conservative way that they are interpreting it, beyond conservative, it is likely that DACA could disappear. Very likely. And so one of the things that I said in a post on my Facebook page and my Instagram page recently is, maybe now that white women are losing the right to abortion, they can begin to pay attention to the needs of other individuals because they are now being affected. Maybe the LGBTQI plus community that has had no care in the world about the undocumented community, like DACA recipients, may start paying attention to that, which perhaps didn't affect them before. And DACA recipients will hopefully start participating as well. And finally, these three groups, at least, and more, will start collaborating with the African American community so that everybody can find freedom. Because at this point, this is not happening. And so women are having, and I want to continue to use this term, white women who are now being affected are demanding the right to their body. Let us remember that around 2014, 15, possibly 16, Congress tried to pass over 400 laws to control women's bodies. At the same time, in that year, Congress tried to pass absolutely zero laws to control the bodies of men. So it's really, really important, right? For white women, for members of the LGBTQI class community and DACA recipients to think about collaborating. Otherwise, who knows what the future looks like? And just a reminder to the DACA recipients, if you stay quiet, right, you may end up losing it all. And many DACA recipients act like if they are US citizens and they don't care about anybody, including their families. Maybe it's time that you recognize that you don't have as many privileges as you think you do. And a reminder at this moment, DACA renewals are taking 3 months to complete. So plan properly for that.